Hello and welcome back to the final episode of my solo Ambassador Ambience cruise series. Today is the last full day on board and we will be sailing away from Honfleur where we stayed overnight and then sadly heading back to Tilbury. If you saw the last video then you'd have seen a little unseen clip of The Simpsons, but if you didn't watch it then that's what my unfortunate lighting was like in my cabin, so I had to look back at what I'd said and just re-say it but at home. And unfortunately today's footage is pretty much the same and I'm a bit embarrassed to put that out. So again, I've watched back what I've said. I'm just going to repeat what I said basically, but just with a little bit better lighting. So this is me at home and we live and we learn and we move on. I didn't get off the ship today and had another nice long lay-in, and it was a late night last night. So I took my time getting ready and I probably left my cabin about 11:30, 12ish. But when I left my cabin, I went up to the outside decks, up onto the jogging track, and I was very nicely greeted with loads of decorations and balloons and bunting. It was great. It was so bright and colourful. So I looked on the app to see, well, something must be going on, and it said that there was an event called DeckFest. I thought, yep, that sounds like a bit of me, but it wasn't going to be starting until 1:30, so I decided to go and get some pizza and chips from the alfresco grill and go and sit by the pool bar and just chill until that event started. I was actually loving life. I was so relaxed, so chilled, but I've not really spoken about how I felt as a solo cruiser on this cruise, but I plan to speak about that in my next video, which will be my cruise review. But DeckFest started at 1:30 and sailaway started at 2, which all timed in together really well. It was actually a really nice feeling just listening to the music and the singing by the entertainment team and then watching the views as we sailed away. I just felt really happy and content and in my element really. But I'll leave some clips in now for you so you can see for yourself.
What's up everybody? There you go. Reach out. Ready to sing along. Touching me louder. This song I want to hear you louder than before. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
So out of all my cruises I've been on, this is the first time that I've actually been to a sail away party out on deck, and it was such a nice experience. It was such a lovely atmosphere. Everyone was really enjoying themselves. It was really nice to be chatting up on deck to people and everyone just seemed to be having a good time. Actually, now is a good time to say how lovely it was to speak to so many people that had watched my videos and they were on that cruise because they'd been inspired by my videos. There were people who that was their first ever solo cruise from my last series. It was some people's first ever cruise from my videos, so I'm really honoured and thank you so much for watching these videos, and I'm really happy that they've inspired people and it really does mean a lot to me. So thank you again for anyone that said hello to me. Thank you for your kind words. It was really lovely to meet you and I really hope you enjoyed your cruise. But back to the cruise, I'd been out in the sun for a little while and I definitely wasn't going to be making the same mistake that I did yesterday because I was already very sunburnt. So I looked on the app and looked at the activities and noticed that in the Purple Turtle there was a theatre at sea performance that was being hosted by the actor hosts. It was called The Tales from Castle Frankenberger and they were basically doing the play like through the radio, so they would be using different random objects for special effects, but it was very funny, my kind of humour, and I was chuckling away to myself in the corner, so I really loved it and I'm really glad I went to go and see it. But it's now early evening and the disembarkation information has come through the door, which I definitely do not want to see, but I'm going to leave a little clip in now and a bit of a voiceover just to explain and just so that you can see for yourself what you might expect to see for disembarkation. Pause to read all of the disembarkation information, but it may be different on other sailings. There's 2 ways to disembark. Option 1 is the express disembarkation, in which you carry off your luggage yourself, but only do this if you're physically able to. The other option is silent disembarkation, where you will leave your luggage outside of your cabin the night before and it will be waiting for you when you get off the ship in the luggage hall. If you choose this option, you will wait in your designated lounge until someone from guest services team tells you it's time to disembark the ship. but make sure you keep things on you for overnight like medicine, chargers, change of clothes, etc. All passengers except those in suites are asked to vacate their cabins up until 7:30 AM at the latest. So now I'm going to get ready for the evening and I'm going to go and have my dinner in the buffet so that I can be comfortable and I don't want to put myself through any of that again. Also on the app you can have a little look at what the menu is going to be for dinner in the buffet and the main dining room. So I've had a little look and there's spaghetti bolognese, which I'm very happy about. That's pretty much made my day because that is my favourite dinner ever. After dinner I'm going to go to the theatre and watch the show in there, which is called Global Explosion. I saw this on my last cruise and talk about explosion because it blew me away. This is hands down the best show I've seen at sea. The choreography, the music choice, the singing, the dancing, everything is just spot on. Like, I would actually go and pay money to see this if it wasn't on a cruise. So if it is on your cruise, please don't miss it. I might even go and see it twice because I did love it so much. But there is a pre-show beforehand, which is mostly acting. So you will need to see that beforehand and then get there maybe half an hour before that because it is very popular. After that, I'll be going up to the observatory for an Irish lock-in. I'm not sure what to expect because I've never done that before. So that's going to be really interesting to see and a nice new experience. And then the farewell disco. So lots of entertainment tonight, lots going on, really excited. And I'm predicting another late night. So I'll catch up with you when I'm ready. Just before I go out, this is tonight's outfit. Look how red my arms are. But nothing else is even remotely covering this, so this will have to do. It's probably a bit dressier than I would have wanted, but it's what it is. I still like it. Let's go. Just one last thing actually before I go to the buffet. Towards the end of your cruise you'll receive one of these feedback forms, which I'm going to go fill in and give into reception, but I don't have a pen on me, but they do have pens at reception, so I'm going to quickly go and fill it in down there before I head to dinner. Hello, I've now come back from my fantastic evening. It's so much better than the past 2 nights and I'm glad I went to the buffet. So I went down, dropped my thing off at reception, my feedback form, went out to the buffet for dinner, got a very delicious spaghetti bolognese. It was really hot and it was very quiet in there, wasn't chaotic at all. I think you'll find at dinner time it is pretty quiet in there and I think it's so relaxed and I actually really enjoy the buffet on board. But that was a really nice experience. And then after that, what did I do? And then after that, I decided to go and watch the first show of Global Explosion, which I have seen before. And there's a little pre-show before it. So make sure you watch both of them because one kind of leads into the other. And they're both just equally as good. They're a little bit different. The pre-show is a bit more acting. And then the show is dancing and singing from around the world. So definitely make sure you check those out because it is absolutely phenomenal. I'm going to just keep repeating myself when I'm talking about the entertainment, but the talent is just so good. And I heard so many people say that that's like the best show they've ever seen at sea. So that's really saying something and you shouldn't miss it. But unfortunately, I did sit in the first few rows, which aren't like tiered up. And someone come and sat in front of me right at the last second who was quite a bit taller than me and I couldn't really see that well. So after the first show, I decided to go and grab a drink while the next one was getting ready and then go back to the theatre and sit a little bit further back, which was a bit more tiered and I could see over the top of people's heads and had a much clearer view. So yeah, that's probably a good tip when you're sitting in the theatre, is to sit just a few rows back where they're a bit more tiered and a bit higher up so that you can actually get a clear view of the stage and what's going on. But second show was just as good as the first. But after that, headed up to the observatory and the Irish lock-in was absolutely fantastic. And I believe it was done by the assistant cruise director who is Irish. And it was really good. The whole place was absolutely packed. It was hard to stand anywhere. You couldn't find a table. And everyone was joining in. It was really nice to see. I've never seen anything like that. So it's nice to experience new things. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's been a really good evening, and obviously the disco after that as well. But it was much quieter in there as obviously it's the last night tonight. Everyone wants to go to bed early. People don't want to be up drinking late because obviously people have to drive home. So yeah, it wasn't as good disco wise as last night, but still pretty good and I enjoyed myself. But now I'm back in my cabin and I'm going to be disembarking in approximately 7 hours or something. I do have to be out of my cabin at 7:30 in the morning, and I believe the ship is due to dock at 8:30 that we can be off. I have chosen to do self-disembarkation so I can just wheel my own cases off. Otherwise I would have had to wait until 20 to 11 in one of the lounges, which I don't really want to do. So yeah, that's what I plan to do tomorrow, but it probably will look a bit chaotic. So I'll catch up with you in the morning. So it's now time to disembark. I'm really sad. I'm not going to be able to film too much of this because I do have my big suitcase, a little hand luggage suitcase and a shoulder bag. Don't ask, I'm an overpacker. But I'll leave a little clip in while I'm talking here just to show you what the lobby area looked like, and then I'll catch up with you when I'm at home. So now I really am at home, but I'll give you all my thoughts and feelings in the next video for the cruise review. But if you've got anything you want me to include in that video, any questions or comments, then please leave them in the comments below. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate if you could give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the bell icon, then you'll get a notification anytime a video goes live. So that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.